Normally on these special days, we make allowance for those who might have some expression in behalf of their parents, mother, father, whomever. And so you might prepare for that. And I'm sure that you perhaps have something favorable, I trust. Not of course, we don't want you to endure something.
I know what you're doing.
So, and don't try to be over sensational more than anybody else, because there's other people here. We don't want to be selfish. Not having to serve ourselves. So we want to here, and we help those who wish to make some comments, trust favorably of those who sustained you down for years. All right, and not at the moment, but we will give you ample time, we give allocation for time that you wish to express. All right, and someone who tried it, they did. Turn to kind of a springboard here. Turn to the book of Timothy, chapter number 5. This is verse number, I don't want to be excessive reading here. Time for you. Chapter 5, and verse number 7, I think it is. Yes, I do it. Verse number 7.
And these things give in charge, that they may be blameless. But if any provide not for his own, and especially for those of his own house, he has denied the faith and is worse than an infidel.
Thank you very much. Especially, all have a part to play in the sustaining of their family. But now we are definitely one incumbent upon the father. All right. Now, I often emphasize this to those who are prospective brides or grooms or whatever the case might be, that you're not only marrying a man, but a prospective father. And if you would study the enormity of the responsibility of a father, maybe you think twice before you make a decision. The most responsible position in the Word of God. Now that word provision is quite widespread. Listen to what it says. If he provide not for his own, listen. Do you know if you are in a godly marriage, the father of the is given from God the ability to provide whatever necessary in the interest of his family. Do you hear? Now, I mean, you might not have any ability that's outstanding, whatever, but you'll have ample provisions. Do you understand that? Sure. And listen, I know nothing more disparate than you have someone here and they don't even know what provision is all about. Maybe because of the upbringing or whatever reason, but not. This should be the initial requirement. Do they have to keep? I don't mean just have a job and maybe buy a pair of Nike and all this kind of stuff. This far beyond that. You know, a father is a priest of his home.
Take your time, brother. Lord help us.
What is the priest? What a position here. The priest of his home. And God help us if they are incapable and don't have the capability of providing that priesthood. You understand? Now listen here, sir. Now, you might have a lucrative job, income, and another earthly benefits. but that doesn't even scratch the surface. Do you know, dear one, it would be a rarity to ever call for any outside help if indeed you are a real father. And I was just thinking how that we raised our family. And my wife would do all that she could. But there would come time that arose a critical situation, and it's just too much for her. I remember when one of my children, we thought he would lose his eye. He had become injured in his eye. And so I was just so worn because of my involvement. I just thought I would go upstairs and get a little rest. And my wife, she sensed that I was overwhelmed with responsibilities. And so she said, going up there and I'll take care of the child. And so it became so intense that she said, Frank, you got to come down. I can't go any further. I got him went there. And we saw a despairing position there above the ordinary. And then they tried to have us to concede defeat. But God gave us the wherewithal to pray the prayer of faith. And you know, God on the spot did it. And there was no lasting effect of it. And time again, I mean, what it is, listen. Now, you many times are considering how, if you can provide luxuries, and this, that, and the other, and something here that make you more acclaimed in the neighborhood, or whatever the case might be. But it's far beyond that, thing of God. You know, in fact, you know what? That's what courtship is all about. Not going out to dinner every time you get a chance to, and having pizza parties and all that kind of stuff. Almost the extent of your communication should be checking the capabilities of the person involved to perform their duties. You understand that? That's the situation. Otherwise, you have some embarrassing and some serious situations that don't have the capability to meet with. All right, here we are. Now, provide whatever necessary. Many times, my family has faced a critical situation, and my wife tries to settle it, and she said, go and tell Daddy. Daddy should be able to come up with a solution. I don't care what it is. Oh yes, this is the situation. The Bible said provide, didn't it? Well, provide what? Whatever is necessary. I mean that in every detail. Come to Daddy. Now, through some means, I should be able to come up with a solution. And that has been the case now for more than 60 years. Going to tell Daddy. In case you have that, listen, I'm going as far as I can go. And you know what? And that was so commonplace in having that suggestion that they would ask for whatever. There were no qualms about it, whatever the case might be. California minister was preaching there, and so he said when they would have their family devotion, that the children would state their problems, and some of them were very, very, very serious. And so, we have such and such a situation. He'll say, Daddy, pray about it. And they go about their business, and that's the end of it. Daddy says you pray about it. They know that Daddy take care of it.
Yes, sir.
And when they go about their business and praying it, and I don't care if the world falling in, Daddy take care of it. See, listen to me. See, Daddy's father should be exemplary.
That's right.
And you don't know the influence that you wills. I remember what I had known about toilets and that kind of thing. But I never had been in one. So this particular night, the wind was blowing and people had begun to come from the wall and all this kind of thing. And we were looking for the golden moment. And my daddy saw me looking at him. And he tried to be calm. I was just about ready to have a fit. And so I looked around, and he had sleep. But he knew that if he panicked, all who was going to fall out of himself. So I watched him. When I was on the verge of maybe going insane or whatever the case might be, I noticed him. And well, I said, if it's as serious as it seems, Daddy would know.
Yes, sir.
I said, he's sitting there, come. So I said, come too. Don't you know they want, listen, you are to be your children's champion.
Yes, sir.
They think they champion beat anybody. My dad beat mine. And you know, I had a depressing situation once, how that little boys were playing, and my dad can do this, my daddy can do that, you know, and they were just bragging on their dad. And one little boy said, what do your daddy do? He said, I don't have no daddy. You know who his daddy is. Don't you know they want people to roast in hell? I mean, bring a child into the world and leave them to chance to survive? And the child don't even know, Lord have mercy upon him. So this wasn't a mess. That's why God's going to bring that thing into judgment soon. And this is it. And I don't remember an occasion where the child come and God did not provide, whatever the category might be. I'm amply, sufficiently. You follow me? No, I don't care. Now, it would be better to go celibate than to get the wrong one. You can't be no husband swapper. I thought you shouldn't think, you should know before you make a decision. Now, there's nothing you stretch around, pray out about it, like you're going down and try on like a pair of shoes and try them out and it don't work out. I'll give it to the will.
Amen.
You follow me? You pray hard, you pray hard. Now here's it. But now, your demeanor and your performances should be so compelling that they would have confidence that you can do anything. He'll bring it to pass. Daddy fix it. Daddy do this. Daddy take care of it. Come on, Daddy. In other words, years ago when provisions were scarce, and the dad, you know, with the welfare could not. We didn't have all this kind of food pantry and all we have today, and so the children were hungry, and time came that they should have some provisions. And to there's the children sit down at the table. They sit down at the table and get situated. Well, what for? We have nothing. Sit down, darling. And they sat down. And so, and I thank the Lord and pray. And I knocked on the door and a big box of food and went away to them.
Praise our God.
Well, there's a sit down. Praise the Lord. Don't worry about the wherewithal. Don't worry about when somebody going to kill a pig and bring up the house. Amen. That's it. Just sit down. My responsibility is to provide for you. And God gave me that ability to do so. You got it? Sit down. Don't worry about where it's coming from, who's going to give it to me, and all this kind of thing. Whether they have a new welfare facility in the neighborhood and all, forget that. Sit down. Praise God. Amen. Listen, brother, you better be praying, amen. If you are incapable of providing your part of the situation, then you're in a bad situation. Now, if they call on you and you can't do it, I'm going to tell you something to God. The children should have go to bed worrying all night long whether we're going to survive or not because of the lack of necessities. Don't you know that? That's your responsibility. That's not fair. They didn't have to come here. You brought them here for whatever reason. Do you understand? And that's the situation. But you should be cognizant. You should realize that the enormity of that responsibility. Wait a minute here. What am I getting into? You know, I told you this many times. There was an individual from Madrid, Missouri, and he came by the barbershop where we were in Detroit early in the morning. I said, I missed you before. You know, I just moved here. You know, what's the situation? You know, man, I had a house full of children there, and I just got tired. I got tired here, there. I got to do this, I got to do that, all the responsibility, and I just tired. I Here's a man, praise God, going to leave his children to perish because he's tired of dealing with issues. Oh, there's no heaven for you. I'm going to tell you something, God. Listen. And not only that, children, but actually, truly, in a measure, they never cease to be a responsibility. I don't mean that you have to support them here and all that kind of stuff. We don't mean that at all. But what I'm saying now, you look at the Bible, even after they were old. Now, and in fact, you should have a will that's such an influence, a favorable soul, that they would listen to you. They might be hard-headed and contrary. We understand that. But they know down within what they're doing. And they know they're heaping wounds upon themselves. Now here, you know that I think about Abraham. Listen to me. See, whatever you do, you're conveying something to your family. And if you live so shabby and uncertain that they cannot base themselves on what you have to offer, to say, and your capabilities, you're in a bad shape. They should feel confident and assured that when you pray or when you ask for a particular blessing, a necessity, that it would be provided. I don't mean no wild speculation and ridiculous aims and things to be done. So here we are, so many things, thank God. But now, even if you have nothing left yourself, you should delight in the fact that God has been my provider. And the children, they'll come behind you. They'll come. Now listen to me. Check the Bible. Abraham with Isaac. Isaac went with him. And I guess he has not seen anything that is comparable to what he was called for the new covenant. And he wanted to sacrifice. And so, and the boy became suspicious. Wait just a minute, what's this? He said, Daddy, I see the wood, the fire, but where's the lamb? My God, he's the days when I used to be cool. They'll never be here. You know, this. And the boy knew his dad so well that the lamb would come from somewhere. Amen. And I trust it's not me. and listen, read the record of his family, Isaac, the one that and check it out. Isaac blessed his sons with faith. What Jacob you mean those? Praise God. Listen, God conveyed that confidence, that power, that authority because of faithful Abraham. And listen, the greatest and the most dependable, amen, and compelling order or position that a person can have is to be a father. But listen to this. God said, Abraham, you're not going to only be a father, but the father of many nations. What a response. You can provide for everybody. I'm responsible for all of those and their well-being and their survival. The man was my God, have mercy upon him. Walking according to the word of God, believing whatever God said without cringing at all. God, I'm going to make you a father of many nations. I'm going to make you a father. I'm a father. Just like your father Isaac, I'm going to make you a father to many nations. I mean, and if I do that, then I'm going to give you provisions for being a father. My God, can God put that kind of confidence in? I'm going to make you this way. You're so provided for your own family, and because of you acquiescing what I suggested, that you will be a father of many nations. I don't know if I found anybody in the Bible that was more valued in their decision, in their position, that God would confer that kind of honor upon them. You follow me? The tremendous things came to God here. Now maybe, perhaps, your father have not met this criteria. You understand? But it's so appeasing to hear from those of you And now they might not be an idea, maybe detail, but if that's something that you have to encourage them about what maybe they have done or what they did not do, you see, you follow me? And they were in different situations. Maybe many of us did not realize the numerous responsibility that is placed upon us. Amen, that is thrust upon us, if you want. And so now, and maybe you come to it now, but don't die like that. If you sit now that have not been that, my God, have mercy upon us. Amen. I mean, don't just go on, amen, and be daring, take a chance on, chance on jumping off the building, and later on, it happens. It's not just going to happen. You have to make it happen by your walk with God. Praise the living God. Amen. Amen. All right. Now, we're going to give you an opportunity. The opportunity. Now, if God has one time given you that responsibility, in fact, and now you don't have that authority anymore, or you're a mess, because you're still responsible. You're still responsible. God not responsible for you losing that what you had. You follow me? And you can just, what happened? I trust that you're not that naive to say something. You know that you have responsibility, that you're incapable of meeting and have not done it, and just go on and like nothing happens here, and whatever. That attitude? Definitely not. You should be trying to make up the deficit. The time that was lost, you should be trying to redeem it. Lord, where if give me time, and I will redeem every that opportunity that I had to prevail, and I didn't. You follow me? Now, we are provided here, and I like to do this because I think there should be a particular time that we can confer this kind of honor and recognition to those who are fathers. You follow me? Now here. And now, if you got a little fellow running somewhere, you don't know all the details about it, and he said, where your daddy? I ain't got no daddy. Well, I thought Roscoe your daddy. Maybe he is, I don't know. All right. Now, we want you, you have a chance to express yourself. Now, don't try to monopolize this whole thing and be more sincere than anybody else. Just regard the fact that there are several here who might wish to express themselves. And so we won't say maybe a minute or 2 minutes like the funeral, and people never abide by it. And so we'll give you opportunity here, and we're not sitting on an eloquent presentation, just now. And then so, and now there are some, or the almost ideal, who are not even saved. And they put many of those who claim salvation. Shame. Shame. Because they senses, God gives us a sensation here. We can sensibly feel it. That what we call our responsibility. And those who have a sensitivity, they're disturbed by that. My God. And they feel the cost. Amen. I buy them some groceries and make a few other items here and a few toys and a few whatever case might be and support them and this, that, and the other, take them in there. It's more than that. It's infinitely more than that. And it's something that only God can give. Now you can be a decent individual here and make some provision. We understand that, children. But my God, can we sense the depth of it? That's what we're trying to press today. Can you sense the depth of it? And you know, and by criticizing, that's not going to bring it. It takes the Holy Ghost to bring it there. You're not a good father. You said, what is the situation? Now, everyone that you're responsible for coming into the world. Now, but then we've got children scattered all over. When your responsibility is scattered all over.
My Lord, brother.
Well, yes, you're that. That's your position here, praise our God.
Yeah.
All right then, now, if you want to even express yourself here, you want to kick it off him? You don't have to. Listen, now, you are different. Now, we don't have a lot of time to linger here. Now, if you wish to express, and you know what? You say, well, I did not express myself to my parents where they're living and now they're gone. Well, maybe you want to take up the slack here See, I'm a good father. And you know, I mean, you know, not just of a cliche here, just to be saying something because we suggested it here, but you know that you recognize that, and maybe you need to repent for not making him aware of it. All right, so here we are. Come on in. All right, don't do it here. All right, Peter, proceed.
I never came up here to this extent to do this, but I guess God impressed on me that not necessarily what I was, but what I am. And I know I was raised upright. I had a wonderful mother and father example. And the Bible says, train them up in the way that they should go, and when they're old, they will not depart. I thank God I had something to come back to. And when I came back and God saved me, He restored the years
Praise God.
that the locusts ate up,
Thank God. Amen.
and the cankerworms, and the caterpillars.
My Lord.
He gave me back what the devil tried to steal from me. This morning I got a text from one of my sons, and it really kind of told the whole story. He said, "Dad, thank you. I'm so proud of you. I appreciate you, even when it looks and feels like I don't. I'm grateful to have a father to look up to." I can't say I've always been that way, but I thank God for what God has put in me,
Praise God.
that I can be an example. He's given me a work to do in the church. And even in that, I want to be faithful to do what I've been called to do. And I want to be able to leave, as we talk about a legacy, I want to be able to leave a legacy. I ain't been here long, and I ain't always been here. But neither one of us has always been here, have we? All of us came out of sin. So it don't make no difference. As I said before, whether you've been here 60 years, and Pastor Hampton has been a wonderful example for me, a father figure, or you've been here 1 year or 1 day, if you're saved, you're still going to get that penny. And I thank God for what He's done for me.
Praise God. Bless God. Bless God. Thank the Lord.
I'm nervous. He put me on the spot. I want to thank God, first of all, for my salvation.
Praise God.
I appreciate God so much for His goodness unto me. I appreciate God for saving me.
God.
As my husband was saying, that he hasn't always been a good husband, father, man, period, but God.
Praise God.
And God is faithful, and I appreciate God for being so faithful. I thank God for how He restored my husband as a man, as a husband, as a father, just as a man of God. And I appreciate Him for being so faithful, diligent. He has helped me a lot.
Praise God. Praise God. We thank the Lord.
I could go on and on, but
My Lord.
I just thank God.
Praise the Lord. Amen. Thank God. Wonderful. Bless God. Bless God. Praise God. Praise God. Thank you.
I am speaking for my family, sisters and brothers. Dad, truly love you, appreciate you, thank you. I think the thing that I admire about my dad more than anything else is how I never had a doubt where I fit in, or my mother fit in, or anything else fit in. I always was a distant second to God. And I didn't have no problem with that because that was my place, you know. And I was just thinking that I probably could have handled his death easier than I could have him to compromise and backslide. If that would ever happen, I probably could have never got over it. After the way I was raised and messages I heard and the life that I've seen lived, I think I could have handled death much better, you know. So I really thank God for his stand, you know, and it set boundaries for me. It set boundaries for me, you know, and there's no question I'm gonna be a good husband because I gotta follow the pattern, you know. And truly, his shoes are too big for me to fill. You know, I'm just gonna fill my own. I can't fill them, you know. So I appreciate that from my dad.
Dad, I'd like to say Happy Father's Day, and I love you more than words can express. Even though I'm not your favorite daughter, I still love you more than words can express. I always have to make sure everybody understands that. I probably am closer to my father. I probably do more for my father, but his favorite daughter is Donna. Hands down, that's Donna. So, but one thing I want to say about my father, there's two things in life that my father has taught me and has helped me through my whole life. And one is, I don't care what you're facing, pray about it. And don't make no hasty decisions, but you pray. And I watched my dad all of my life. I can go back to when we lived in Detroit, and as a little child, I have never, ever seen my dad in the bed, like when the sun is up, because we would wake up and I would hear my dad praying. And till this day, we were challenging the young children, the grandchildren in the family. And so I asked one of my little nephews, I said, tell me what Papa does. And my little nephew, literally, we were at my dad's house. He went in the family room, got down on his knees, and stretched out the exact way that my father. So the way my dad prays is not only for us, but the grandchildren have seen it. And the other thing is, when I was 17 years old, my dad was taking me to my little job that I had, and when he would take me to work, the days that he would take me, he would talk to me, and I didn't understand that the things my father was saying was he was giving me little nuggets that would help me throughout my life. But the one nugget he gave me that I'll never forget was, Marcina, most people cannot handle life. If you can go through life and you can handle life, because you don't always know what life is going to hand you, but you have to be able to handle life. And I've watched my dad's life and having all 11 of us and being a barber. Now, what kind of money does he make, right? But I mean, it amazes me right now the little that my father raised our family off of and how him and my mom did it. I think back, I said, how in the world did my dad buy 11 pairs of shoes, but we never went without shoes? Never went without a meal, never seen our cabinets bare. I don't even understand, on the little bit of money that he made, he was able to do it, and he just would cook biscuits and make sure we all had something to eat. He loved his children, and it shows. Thank you.
Amen.
Happy birthday, Brother Hampton. Happy Father's Day, Brother Hampton. I really do that. I feel honored to be here this morning to talk about my dad. Most girls feel like they have the best father in the whole world. But I'm going to actually say that this morning. I have the best father in the whole world to me. I love my dad so much. My dad was my hero. My mother had 12 children. I was the 9th child. Back in those days, they didn't have the food stamps and all of those kind of things. But my father took care of us. Not only did he take care of us monetarily or whatever, but he taught us love for one another. We had to share our dad with the community of Jackson. My dad was a boxing trainer in the community. So most of the young men, my brother's ages, they would come to our home, or they would go to the gym and my dad would train them. But I loved my dad. I loved my dad so much growing up as a girl. You know how you get on your dad's lap or you cuddle your dad and all of that? He's always been a hero to me. My mother and my father, when my dad passed away, my mom and dad had been together over 60 years. I've never saw my mother with another man. I've never saw my dad with another woman. All I know is my mom and my dad.
Amen.
I am so grateful for Mr. Sumner this morning. Like I said, I was the ninth child, the girl, the baby girl, and the love that he had. You know, there'd be times when the other children, they couldn't do and say what I could say, basically.
Amen. God bless you.
He did a lot of things with us. He took us places even when we didn't deserve to go those places.
Thank the Lord. Praise God.
And I just really appreciate him.
Amen. God bless you.
I want to thank God for my dad as well. I remember I met my real dad, actually face to face. I think it was back in 2011, and I saw him, and I'm just like, wow, this is the guy who created me. Without him, I would not be here. But then I thought about my stepdad, and I'm just like, I've known this guy since I was 7 years old, and I'm 21 now, and he raised me to be the woman who I am today. He taught me a lot of things. He was there when I got my first car. He was there when I graduated from high school, when I first started college, and I respect him. I have a certain level of respect for him that I've never respected somebody before. But yeah, I love my dads. They're great. But happy Father's Day to all you guys out there.
Praise God. Bless the Lord.
Well, happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. I really appreciated my dad, and even still today, even his work ethic. Even times he didn't want to go to work, he would still go to work. And even me being able to have a job since I was 13, and just really show that he really did a great job of showing me that a man should go to work every single day, and I appreciate him for that. And even just a lot of the little things. And I mean, if I ever, I do want to get married one day and have kids, but he did a great job of showing me what a man should be to his wife, to his kids, and I just really appreciate him for that. And even it's unfortunate that he's gone, but even thinking about him being saved and in heaven, it's just I eventually do want to go see him, so I appreciate him for that.
Happy Father's Day to all the fathers. I just want to say Happy Father's Day, even though my stepdad has passed. I just appreciate him for the family that I have now. And to my real father, I appreciate him even though he didn't raise me. He calls me every once in a while, and he calls me, he's often, actually this past year, he's been calling me a lot, and I'm not sure why, but I do appreciate him for checking up on me, for just asking me how I'm doing, and if I need anything, and getting me things if I do, and I just appreciate both of them. That's all.
I want to thank the Lord for my dad. He wasn't, my mom and dad had gotten divorced when I was a little girl, so he wasn't really a part of our life. He was like a weekend dad. But I just want to thank God that, for him. I just want to thank God for my husband. I couldn't have asked for a better husband. The things that I tried to seek in sin, God gave me that double fold in salvation. Even with my husband. I got double children, But, Keith, I could say, I can go on and on. You guys know, But, he was the greatest for me, The only thing I regret is us not growing old together, having an empty nest together. I'm not going to know what that's like, but that's okay. God has been good. He's been sustaining us and keeping us, and, I don't regret anything. God knows what he's doing. and I don't regret it. You know, I'm good with it. And bear with me on this one, Saints, because I just got to say it. Keith, you were my man. Since you can't do it, no one can. Keith, you were my man. Since you can't do it, no one can.
Now you're gonna have to expedite it, Shirley, because we can keep
Sorry
going
about
on.
that.
You can, we'll give you a chance to, but you know, kind of condense it, if you will.
My Lord, how beautiful.
Praise the Lord, praise the Lord, praise God. All right.
Xavier, Kyrie, and Robert, back row, middle section, coming up here.
Amen.
Xavier, Kari, and Robert. As they're coming, I want to say Happy Father's Day to all of the fathers, and Happy Father's Day to my pastor. I want to say Happy Father's Day to my husband. I love you very much. I was thinking last night that this coming August will be 29 years that God has kept us together. When I think about just different things and different ones, the enemy's his job was to try to destroy us because he doesn't like anything good. But God has sustained us and he's helped us and he's blessed us, and I thank him for that. I thank you for all the wonderful children that you have given me. A lot of times when I'm out and you know, people find out how many children I have, they say, are they all by the same guy? Yes, they are. All of these are John and then Katie, my daughter-in-law. But I love you very much and happy Father's Day.
Thank God.
I'm gonna speak on behalf of all the kids and do a poem. Wrote this poem a little bit ago for my dad. Willis have a tendency to get emotional, so I'm gonna try the best I can not to as I read this and get out the way. It says, Dad, I guess I can't see them coming down my eyes, so instead I'll take this pen and make this poem cry. I used to be kind of naive when I was like 8 or 9 and thought that some people that I knew would never die, but looking back, I guess I was kind of silly to ever think like that. But God sends little reminders about those facts. Just the other day, one of my best friends lost his dad, and it got me to thinking not to take for granted what I have.
That's right, brother.
Pop, I always keep the lessons with you, or from you, in my mind. I remember little things that we've done together in this life, like being just a little guy trying to ride my bike. I fell a whole lot back then, but you were by my side. I've gotten older and I fell off more than just my bike, but you kept picking me up as I've gone through life. You kept brushing us all off and steering us all right. You kept pushing for us and kept showing us light. I've wanted nothing more than just to make you smile. I used to feel so badly when I let you down. I remember ball games searching for you through those crowds, and the only reason I ever played was to make you proud. I never cared about college or getting a scholarship or MVPs or trophies or winning championships. I never cared about articles or the papers you cut out. The only thing that mattered to me was what my dad thought. The only reason I ever wanted a family and my own kids is because I wanted to do and be like you, and that's what you did. I started working when I was 13, but it wasn't about cash. It's because I learned that a man works from my dad. You used to have a lot of books in your office at work, so I thought that to be smart, I needed to learn all those words. Do you remember who introduced me to libraries at first when I got Encyclopedia Brown Mysteries when I got bored? Do you remember who used to cry before he gave me a whipping? Or who taught me that men should never lay his hands on a woman? Who was the first person to really tell me where babies came from? School wanted to teach us sex ed, but I learned it first at home. A lot of kids remember their childhoods for the stuff that they had, for all the clothes they got, and for the fancy gifts and bags. But getting older, I can see that my gift was better than all of that, because the best part about my childhood was having my dad. I watched you love my mom for all these children that she gave to you. I watched you sacrifice and struggle to make us better too. I've been saved for a while now, and I can see the false and true, but anytime I stop by your house, I can find a real man in you. When I was a little kid, the grown-ups used to call me Little John. I never understood that though, because I look a lot more like my mom. I guess when I was younger though, I didn't see what they saw, that the little puppies always mirror what they see from the big dog. You probably didn't know that I still think before I act, did you? That the only reason I picked my career because I asked myself, would you? Or that you're still all the support that I need in this life to lean on. That Dad, I love you wasn't enough, so I wrote you this poem. People are waiting to celebrate their dads on days like Father's Day when it comes. But honestly, we've been celebrating our dad every day since we've been born. When we get up to brush our teeth and hop in the shower to get clean, I'm celebrating by doing things that my father taught me. Every time I tie my shoe or iron a pant leg or a shirt, every time I hop in my car and show up on time for work, every time I dribble a basketball or sit and talk with my son, or when I go to church on Sunday mornings and every once in a while sing a song. Even when I have to cry sometimes because life can get kind of hard, I don't let myself quit because Dad said to finish what you start. I don't even lie to girls because you didn't do that to my mom. So any relationship that I've had, I found a way to celebrate my dad. I know I don't say it enough, but you should know I love you, Pops. And even if I do well in life, I'll never be half the man that you are. These few words can never make up for all the years that you put into me and my brothers and sisters, but I hope that they can return some of the love you've given us all. Sincerely, T. Love you. Baby girl want to talk.
Yeah, Terrence said he was going to talk for all of us, but not me. Happy Father's Day, Dad. I love you very much. Recently, this past senior year, I feel like me and my dad have gotten very close. I know that I wouldn't be the young lady that I am today without my dad. So thank you for being in my life. Love you, Dad.
Amen. I'm not trying to take up time, but I gotta tell my dad I appreciate him. I really do appreciate you, man, for just like Terrence said in this poem, you know, doing whatever it takes, basically. And that's what I get from you, man. You did whatever it took.
5 o'clock in the morning.
And so I took him one day, we parked behind the building waiting for them to open. And so it was about maybe 10 degrees below zero. Wow. And that was the end of John's quest. That's this, hey. Yeah, you feel pretty. Come on, Greg, what you got to say, man? What you want, Greg?
I want to thank God for my dad, my superhero. He's a preaching machine, singing, prayer warrior. He's all that. And you know, he sing this little song, say, through the years, I keep on toiling, oh, toiling, through storm and rain, patiently waiting and watching until my Savior come again. Don't be sad.